Okay, this is quite an interesting question. It's about the magnetic fields caused by coils of wires. So consider this coil here. Most students will know that we can figure out the direction of the magnetic field by using the right hand grip rule, right? The right hand grip rule. So most students will be able to tell that the field is leftward. But what many students don't realize is that the magnetic field actually wraps around because the field line must be a complete loop, right? So what the right hand grip rule tells us is the direction of the magnetic field inside the coil. But the direction of the magnetic field outside the coil is actually rightward. See? This portion here will be rightward, this portion here will be rightward. What the right hand grip rule tells us is the magnetic field inside the coil. So if you look at this coil from this direction, so what you see is this flat coil here with currents going this way. So again, if you use the right hand grip rule, you know that the magnetic field is coming out of the page, right? Coming out of the page. But there's the magnetic field that's inside the coil. So outside the coil, the magnetic field is actually going into the page. Get it? This is simply because of the nature of the magnetic field, right? It wraps around. Okay, now we are ready to tackle this question here. So let's consider the black coil first. So the current is going this way. So right hand grip rule, that tells us that the magnetic field is going into the page. But that's inside the coil, right? So inside the coil is inward, inward, inward. But outside the coil, it will be outward, outward, outward. Now let's look at this, the green coil here. So the current is going this way. So again, your right hand grip rule. So for this guy, the field is actually coming out of the page. So the field is coming out of the page, out of the page, out of the page, out of the page. But in these three regions, it's actually outside the coil, right? So this will be into the page, into the page, into the page, and into the page. The last one, the blue coil here, the current is going this way. So right hand grip rule. So the magnetic field is going into the page. So into the page, into the page, into the page, into the page. But in these three regions, it's actually outside the coil. So it's out of the page, out of the page, out of the page. So in which regions do all three magnetic fields reinforce each other? I hope you can see is in this region here, right, where all three magnetic fields are going into the page, and also in this region here where all three magnetic fields are coming out of the page. Okay.